Can I celebrate a milestone?
Yeah.
It connects. This is a real win for me. I've had a little bit of a patch for my entire life. We finally made it. I saw my video today and I was like, oh my God, I made it. You know, it's been a long journey.
Yeah.
It's been a tough one. It's been hard. It's been, you know, it's been coarse. It's been rough. It's been irritating, but I persevered.
When I moved back to New York, I just come from Disney, where Disney's rule at the time was you had to be clean shaven. When I went up there and then started working as a manager, nobody took me seriously because I was just this tall, gawky young kid. I grew out a goatee, which is what I had for the longest time. I kept going back and forth of, is this even worth trying to grow out? Because I wanted it to give, you know, authority to me, etc. So I remember specifically what you're talking about with this one spot right at the corners of the mouth. That took forever to grow. The day that happened, that feeling, I know that exact.
Wish you could bottle it.
Moment.
I wish you could bottle it. It's amazing.
It's true though.
I'm thinking about, like, now that I have the mustache, I'm thinking, like, what if I just have the mustache? Like, immediately where my mind goes is like, what if it's just that? Which is terrible. It's a terrible instinct. I would not pull it off. But what if I could?
No, what you should do is mutton chops.
Yeah. I would just look like, I would look like Nick Offerman. Do people in our comments complain about my constant chair swiveling?
I have never gotten that as a comment.
They should. I'm just going to throw that one out there. You know, like, free value. Pick this one up off the ground if you're a commenter who wants to dunk on me, because today I'm going to be swiveling. I can feel it already.
Are you anxious about something?
No, I just ate. And before that, I took caffeine. So I'm just like, I'm awake. I've got that energy.
All right, let's do the thing. Let's go play
dude.
Grand Arena. Oh.
Well, no, I mean, I don't think I've ever felt like that about Grand Arena.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
So,
no. You know what I mean, though? Like, that sucked. That sucked to hear that. It's like, hey, we're about to do this thing again. Nope. And now.
Nope. I wonder what bug they ran into.
I don't know. But what I do know is that it was serious enough.
Okay, hold on. Stop. You did like a really weird head motion there. You were like, I don't know. And then you nodded at the end. And it was like, that sounds like you're trying to imply that you do know, but you can't say it. Okay. All right. That's so helpful, man. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. What I can say about it is that it's very obviously clear that it was a breaking bug and people would have hated it. And they would have probably had to take the game mode down if it went live like that. So they did the right thing. They made the right call to my understanding of it.
Doubt that.
Yeah, no, I mean, for them to make it that clearly obvious of, hey, here's what happened. And, oh, that's not good. Oh, we got to push this back. Oh, no. Like, yeah, okay, I get it. So at least they moved the other one up, and it's this I guess is the good thing now about having so many different limited time game modes now is they can just change date, boop, boop, should be ready to go for a quick plug and play adjustment. And it's better than nothing, but I wanted to kind of open about it because I found the community's reception to it quite odd. And your reaction was actually dead on the money with what I thought was interesting was if it was any other game mode almost at any other time, I think everyone would have been like, all right. But because it was the Mother Ascani game mode, people cared.
I think you're giving people a little too much credit on this one. Or maybe you're not giving Second Dinner enough. I can't tell which. My instinct is that when you announce a game mode and say things are going to happen and then it doesn't happen, the community has every right to be upset with that. Like,
no, I'm not saying it's unjust.
Maybe Mother Ascani, plus or minus 10% at it among like hardcore people. But I don't really think that it's like, oh, I'm missing out on Mother Ascani. I think that makes it feel worse. But I think basically any card, any piece of content getting delayed because you broke the game and this somehow wasn't fixed before it got sent into production and put on a schedule. I think there's a pretty high floor on that reaction, meaning that like if someone is going to react to it, they're not going to react to it positively. Anyone who would go out of their way to take the time to comment on it, basically no matter what, would be like, well, this sucks, because there's nothing else you can say. And so like Ascani is the thing that people latched onto to explain that. But I don't really think there's a world in which they can do what they did here and have the conversation about it be anything other than what it was. Like,
I'm not saying
who's going to participate in that conversation? The people who were mad about it. So,
no, I know. I mean, I'm not saying that they did the wrong thing. This is a hands down, definitely the right thing that they needed to do, and it sucks. But I think back to like, if this was a game mode that we were going to get Ascani Sun, or we got Dragon Lord, thinking of like a semi better one that came out of a game mode, right?
I just don't see a big gap between them and Mother Ascani.
I definitely disagree there, because Mother Ascani, for many people, were saying, wow, this is going to be the best card of the month. And I'm not looking at it from a perspective of a content creator, because again, it doesn't change anything. I don't do a video on Mother Ascani.
It's a really good card. It's a card people are excited about. Yeah. But
right,
like, exactly. It's like a 4 out. I think I had it at like a 4 out of 5. What did you rate it coming into the season?
I had it at least at a 4 if I was going on a 5 scale.
Yeah. And so like you look at a Dragon Lord. You look at a Dragon Lord, that's like a 3. You look at an Ascani Sun, that's like a 3. Like I don't really think the difference between a 3 and a 4-star card is the driver of negative discourse. I think it's just really easy for someone who is mad about this to say that it's because of Ascani Sun too, or because of Mother Ascani is the card that they're missing out on. But it's like, I think that you don't need that excuse. You can just be mad. Like, that's sort of where I'm at. Is just like, you can just say they mishandled this. It's fine. You don't need to be like, you don't need an extra justification. They blew it.
Well, yeah, they blew it. But I'm saying the perception of that feeling I'm seeing from people in the community, and I think it's augmented because the last 2 Series 5 cards that released kind of sucked. So they're like, all right, we went 2 weeks without a decent card releasing. Because the last good card to release, I would probably say is Techno Organic Virus. Safe. Like good-ish.
I mean, Strife came out the same day, and I'm higher on Polaris than I am the other 2 Horsemen, but I won't quibble with it.
Yeah, it's just like, all right, it is what it is. It didn't, no meta change, no like super major dramatic changes. It's just kind of like status quo, and people were like, okay, I'm excited to really test and see what this specific card was. And a lot of people going into the season were super excited about what this card could potentially be and what we could throw it into and da-da-da. And I think they were looking for that refreshment, and it compounds onto the situation that it is right now. I'm not saying that it's a major problem in the community. I just happen to see more conversation around this delay than I would, I think, in any other situation than expected, because I feel like it was just this awful snowball of effect things.
No,
I just think, like, this is worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. Now I can complain.
I want to put a pin in something because I do think it is worth talking about. I'm going to put a pin in something and we'll come back to it, which is like the overall perception of the metagame right now. That's probably the important topic to talk about here. Yeah. But if you asked me like what the proximate causes of people being mad are, I would say, and this is just numbers pulled wholly out of my ass, right?
Yeah.
But like, let's say people are 8 out of 10 mad at this. I would say 5 out of that 10 just comes from the simple fact of they blew this game mode. It sucks. It's bad. There's nothing really you can do about it. There's no management there's no magic words you can say to make it not suck. So that's like 5 out of that. 5 out of that, like that's like the baseline for me. And then, the metagame's been kind of iffy in large perception. I would say that's 2.5 of that baseline for me. And then the difference between Ascani and Dragon Lord, that's like 0.5. That's really all I'm trying to express here, right? Is like, I think that it has a lot more to do with this is a bad thing, and people are complaining about the meta, and Ascani could have changed it up. But we don't actually know that she will. We just know that we had hope for her to do that, right? Like,
Yeah.
it's one of those things where I think the proximate causes, like, when you address, I guess what I'm getting at is this: when you frame this as an issue related to Mother Ascani, it's sort of like addressing the third thing first, if that makes sense. Like, it's like if I came into the ER after being shot in the chest and I was like, my blood pressure's dropping. It's like, yes, but also there are other things going on here. Like, guys, like, it's a bit like that. Like, it is a thing they have to address, but there are other things going on there too.
That might be the best analogy you've ever used. I'm just saying, that was brilliant.
Thanks. Thanks, man. I've been watching a lot of The Pit.
There you go. I don't know. I was disappointed, to say the minimum, but the reason I know I personally was disappointed was just because of Mother Ascani, and that's exclusively it. Not because I was excited to play Grand Arena again, but because of the access to Mother Ascani. That's just me personally on that aspect of it, but it was one of a laundry list of items that people had reason to complain about this part of the situation. And like I said, the fact that the last card that came on out sucked didn't help.
I'll go to bat. I'll be Polaris' strongest soldier here. I think, unlike Archangel and Wolverine, she actually goes in the deck she's supposed to go in. Is that a meaningful endorsement? Not particularly. But if I put Wolverine in my buff deck, I'm like, damn, I just made my buff deck worse. If I put Archangel in my destroy deck or my mill deck, I'm like, damn, I just made my mill deck worse. If I put Polaris in my afflict deck, I think I made it better. If I put Polaris in my Evo deck, I think I made it better. You know, like, I have more belief after playing with her that she could conceivably improve her archetypes than I did for either of the previous two Horsemen. And whether that means I'm quibbling between 1 and 2 star ratings, I don't know. But I do have a notably different feeling about this card.
I think my biggest gripe, and is part of what I know I talked about earlier today too, was I feel like I have to choose with this card where it's, which one are you putting into your affliction deck? Are you playing Polaris or are you playing Malekith?
Yeah,
because
you do.
And if you're making that choice, in my opinion, I have to go Malekith. I think it is an absolutely better card.
I think there are better 4s in the deck that you can play without Malekith than there are 2s.
Agreed.
We need the 2 slot more. So when I play Afflict, Laufey, I've got Man Thing, I've got Anti-Venom. I'm fine with that.
I agree.
The relative drop off is not as hard. And so that's why I think she is improving the list.
I think I ended up wanting Malekith more than Polaris because specifically of the value of that potential extra targeted pull rather than the random pull. So, because the target pull that you're getting obviously from Malekith was, that's what's going to hit your hazmat to make you pop over the top. That's what's going to hit your Luke Cage to save your ass.
It's like random, right?
Well,
like
it's targeted
you control
random.
the card. Yeah, but like you control the cards you play, right? Like with Polaris, it's like random, but like you could play cards such that the ones that you want to pull are more likely to happen, right? Like it's not like you're just totally coin flipping here. I don't know. Like I understand what you're saying. We just have so few 2s in the list and so many good 4s. There's a billion good 4s where it's like, Malekith is cool, but I got a lot of other guys that do a lot of work too. Whereas like the 2s are just like, am I playing US Agent, Scorpion, and then what? What am I doing? What am I actually doing? And so you're like, okay, I like having this card. The other thing it does, the 2s are important in the list in addition for the upside of being able to pair with a 4 on the final turn of the game. So you play like this in a Man Thing, pull your Ajax or whatever. This in a Man Thing, pull really anything in the entire deck from your hand. And you're like, oh, that's actually kind of nice with it, right? Like that is the other thing the 2s bring in this list that I think is probably good. Like, again, the bar here is astronomically low. But when I was playing Wolverine, it was basically like, I don't really think I want to do this. I like every time I play it, I'm like, I'd rather have played something else. When I played Archangel, it was like, this is a 2/7. It's fine, but there's not really like a good reason to do it. Sure, whatever. When I played this, I was like, I can conceivably see this making deck stronger. And that is meaningfully different from the other two for me.
Yeah. And like you said, it's just quabbling between, I think, a 1 and a 2-star card. It's an upgrade, but by how much?
I'll say after the buff, it goes Archangel 1, Wolverine 2, Polaris 3. And I haven't done enough exploring with Wolverine, but he's one of those cards that I just sort of put a pin in until they make that buff season in July or June or whenever it is. Where it's like, maybe we're back there, or even if they nerf Sholau, suddenly he's in like a much different position. Because right now you want to play him in a buff deck, but there's just a better buff deck to be playing. So if you're just going to be doing points, what's the reason to do something else, right?
Yeah.
And my basic instinct is that Shoalau's just kind of been around too long, even if he's balanced. So I think it's fine for people to want him to get nerfed. Star-Lord, on the other hand, you remember like a week or two ago, I was like, I don't really know if this deck has the juice. I'm starting to feel like it doesn't have the juice. I'm starting to feel like it kind of like actively doesn't have the juice. Like I play against that deck and it's like, do you want to beat Star-Lord? Put a Shang-Chi in your deck. Take priority Shang-Chi to Star-Lord, the game ends. Full stop. Do you want to beat Star-Lord? Put a Supergiant in your deck. Play Supergiant, the game ends. Like, at a certain point, the arguments for it being unfun and bullshit are all valid. Any deck playing Alioth and Fin Fang Foom, who is just big Shang-Chi, like this deck is spiritually just one of the old Thanos control decks. That's spiritually what it's going on. It's just like all these tech cards that make you feel like nothing you did in the entire game matters. Anytime there's a deck that is playing Juggernaut, Alioth, Fin Fang Foom, it's obviously going to have the worst play pattern of all time. It's like if Mr. Negative's end game was more than points and was actually also turning off interaction. He sucks. But world's most beatable card at this point. Like, I will stand on this one. Understanding my track record, I wouldn't be surprised if he gets.
With this card in particular, yeah.
That is the track record I was referencing here. The specific track record on Star-Lord. Yeah. You should not be afraid of this card anymore. You shouldn't. You can aggressively snap into them as long as you are playing a Shang-Chi or a Supergiant. And really, it's just, did you draw it and did they draw the Star-Lord? You're going to win if you both draw it every time. And I know people are going to be like, what are you talking about? They Alioth it. Sorry, the specific play pattern I'm talking about is their best options to play a Star-Lord are either Luna Snow into Star-Lord or Psylocke into Star-Lord. 3-4. If you simply take priority, you blow up the Star-Lord with a Shang-Chi. They do not have anything to do. They spend their entire turn Arnim Zolaing nothing and instantly lose the game. Immediately.
I think a part of it that you may, I don't know if you're weighing it in with this card, is appearance. As in, if I know I'm going to go play Marvel Snap and I'm making up numbers, if 1 in 5 games, I have to deal with this guy. It's a pain in the ass.
It's obviously bad. We talked about the play pattern stuff already. But I'm just saying, I'm just saying, if you're like, I can't beat this guy, you can. You can, I promise you.
No. Oh, yeah, no, I'm not saying it's not beatable.
Star-Lord sucks, and I hate playing against him, and I don't want to adjust my deck. I would say, get over it, adjust your deck, put a Shang-Chi in there. You're probably going to be fine. I do think that the Shang-Chi stuff is actually kind of meaningful, though, because it used to be change your entire deck. It used to be you have to go play a whole different deck. You have to go play Supergiant, right? You have to go play a whole different deck. You have to go play Doom 2099 to afford a Cosmic Ghost Rider. You have to go do a completely different thing than normal. And now I think basically any mid-range deck that is packing a Shang-Chi is going to be totally fine in a matchup. any sort of points deck is just totally fine as long as they have that card.
Yeah, I get it. It's almost to the point where people analyze looking at the Star-Lord matchup the same way they feel about Arishem, where they're just like, ugh, I'm playing up against this guy again. And a lot of it is just feels bad.
Have it, and they
they always have the thing. Like,
it's a combo deck, right? It demands snap and retreat discipline.
Yeah,
and it's probably the strongest deck in the game at punishing cope stays by a pretty wide margin, and I think that's a big part of why people hate it. Because the play pattern of Star-Lord is disrupt them early, snap aggressively, and you win. And I think that's like not actually an easy thing for people to get their head around. It's hard for people to feel confident in their reads of what a deck is, even if they turn 3 a Psylocke and you're like, yeah, okay, all right, buddy, we're snapping here. It's hard for people to feel that that's the right play to do. It's asking for an aggressive play style that I don't necessarily think easily translates, right? And then if you do that and beat Star-Lord and then, you stay for 4 and lose, it requires you to not only aggressively snap the ones where you are stopping them from doing the thing, but also to not cope stay. And I think that, like, in as much as Star-Lord succeeds, one of the things we've learned is, like, this is the Red Hulk lesson. Players love cope staying. Something Marvel Snap players absolutely love. Remember Red Hulk, where the whole thing was like, they have it. We expect this to be a thing that people like incorporate into their play patterns, and then nobody incorporated into their play patterns whatsoever. The converse of this is Darkhawk. Darkhawk, I suspect, always succeeds more to the point that it is over nerfed in lower ranges of the metagame because it encourages you to cope stay. It is a deck that naturally plays well with your desire to stay for the full game, which is interesting. Like, it's an interesting dynamic. Like, there's a lot of situations in Darkhawk where if you look at the underlying math and you're like, I lose to 1 card here, but I've done this many rocks, math says you're supposed to stay, where in other situations it wouldn't. And
the dilution.
I think that my hypothesis is that decks that reward cope staying are loved by the community, and decks that punish it are generally hated. You look at Arishem as a deck that really punishes a cope stay because you have no idea what they're doing. You do not know what it is. You just feel like you got absolutely blown out. It is the worst thing in the world. You look at a deck that doesn't create cope stays, Invisible Woman First Steps. Everyone knows that deck and everyone knows the range, and they are not about it. Maybe IWFS is a bad example, but this is my theory. The more a deck can lose on turn 6, even after executing their combo, the happier people are to play against it, which I think, to be clear, is correct. That's how you should feel. You should feel like that. But I think that that's an aspect of Star-Lord that particularly sucks.
Most of your argument I agree with, but I think the basis of what it is just slightly askew. You're basing it on the idea of it being decks that cope stay. I think it's more the exact same argument, but geared toward players wanting to play a full game. It's not about a cope stay.
Correct. Well, it's both, right? Like, staying when you're unfavored is often the correct thing to do, but it's hard to do. And decks that make it harder are hated. I agree. A lot of the fun in Marvel Snap is located on turn 6, and decks that stress the skill of the game being retreating are bad. I don't think it's like a binary, but I would rather have it the other way. Like,
I want to play more turn 6s. Plain and simple.
Star-Lord is a deck that punishes you harder than anything else for doing it.
For staying when you most likely shouldn't. Yeah.
Yep. It is a deck that every time you stay against it, you feel stupid. Every time.
Many people don't approach it the same way that they would approach a Galactus deck, but
They should.
In many ways, you kind of have to nowadays, where it's like, look, they got it down on 4. They Zola'd it on 5.
Got your shit. It's like, all right.
If you're playing a match and somebody sends over a green goblin on 3 and lands a hobgoblin in the same lane on 5, and there's no cards there,
they got your ass.
Chances are you're done. You should know this by now. But people
and I think
will still
that's
go.
a great example because Galactus is the biggest, most heinous piece of shit on Earth. And if we're like, this feels like Galactus, they should nuke it out of existence. That's the most compelling argument for a brutal murder of Star-Lord that I've ever heard.
So I was trying to think of an even further brutal way to nerf Star-Lord. And I know I've talked about it in the past where I was like, oh, maybe you should make it an objective and this, that, the other. And then I realized how unfortunately that would not work the way I would have wanted because Zola exists. So I kept looking for every possible way for it to be unduplicatable or next to irrationally unduplicatable. And I think I finally figured out what that combination is. And it's to make him a 3/4 activate. It's a 3/4 activate 4 consecutive turns with unspent energy.
Oh,
Gain
no,
+4.
you don't put a double condition on it.
Yes, you
don't do that.
That's
no.
I'm trying to kill the card. That's the point.
I know you can kill the card in a better way. Putting the double conditional on it it's so evil. I hate all the cards they do with double conditionals where it's like you have to do this and that, like Magus, for example, where it's like you got to skip the energy and have the target. And it's like that's not even like this is an even worse double conditional. This is like criminal. This is like you might as well have just written on the card, you are not Joe casting this.
That was the idea.
Yes.
That was the idea.
It's like my instinct is I have a much simpler way to kill Star-Lord. Okay, you ready?
If you say take off more points, I'm gonna say no, it's not.
You're gonna listen to me. You're gonna listen.
I am, of course.
It's 5/7 and he no longer gains power.
No.
Why doesn't that work?
Because of the exact same argument we had back when he went from 4/5 to 4/3, which is people don't play Star-Lord right now because of his power output. They play it for the energy.
No, but they do, though. They need the power output to be an Alioth deck.
The deck then just evolves and stops becoming Alioth. It just becomes a big power. No, it just becomes either a Red Hulk deck. It becomes a Galactus First Sex deck. It's just a big ass deck.
You're allowed to do that. Like, if you're just cheating for numbers, Star-Lord's whole problem is that it's cheating for things that are like, no. If it's just Mr. Negative, it's a fine deck. But the problem is that it's cheating for, like, first of all, brutally murder Juggernaut. But it's cheating for Juggernaut, Alioth, Fin Fang Foom. And Fin Fang Foom is basically just big Shang-Chi, right? Those are the 3 biggest problems in terms of the output of the deck. Like, those are what actually win it games. You're like, people think that, like, oh, I have a bunch of energy, therefore I'm just naturally going to win this game. There are other decks that cheat about that much energy. They exist. Like, your average Mr. Negative game is probably cheating about 18 energy when they play the card Mr. Negative. Maybe more, but like a pretty big number of energy. And I kind of sort of feel like if the deck could not be an Alioth deck, it would be a real deck that you can beat. But what I worry about with this solution is that, like, there is a vocal contingent of people who will not be satisfied until he is dead. You know?
Yeah, that's fair.
And it's like, I think the real spot, if you want to put this card in a real spot, you want him to be Mr. Negative. That's what you would like this card to be long term. Sort of fun little off meta, big points deck, doing cool stuff, right? That's what you want it to be. The reason it's not that right now is because of the priority gameplay it gets to have access to. That's why. The reason it's such a punishing deck on the final turn is because it Alioths 3 locations. And it can do that because it's ahead. And I realize that I am not killing the card. because
I
I
know.
do think it's the right decision to not kill the card.
It shouldn't be
But
killed, but it needs to be put into the lane that it belongs in, right? Which is a mega combo card that you're just saying, look, your mega combo does points.
Yep.
That's what you're aiming for. Right?
Maybe
and
that's
like
just
Mr.
an
Negative's a
impossible
perfect
thing
example.
to do. Yeah, like maybe that's an impossible thing to do in the world we live in currently. Maybe it's not possible. I don't know. But it definitely feels like the reason the deck sucks is not because they can get to 20 energy, because frankly, they kind of can't do that anymore. Mostly they're at like 12 or whatever. Like it's like 12 or 16 maybe on a good day, but like you're mostly just doing like Psylocke, Star-Lord, Zola the Star-Lord. And it's like, that's good. Don't get me wrong, it's good. It'd be a lot worse if you were Zolaing a 5/7. Right now you're Zolaing the things that are the size of Hulks. I don't think that play pattern where you get 12 energy does a lot if you've got a 5/7.
My gut's telling me people retreat because of energy. They don't retreat because of the thought. People will retreat from the deck because of the threat of the energy, not because of the threat of the Goliath.
That's interesting. You might be right. I might have the wrong theory of mind here going on. Because frankly, what I think I did, I think I over nerfed it with that suggestion. I think that is well beyond the pale, personally. Like, I think I kind of put him in a grave and you would not see him again.
That pause was just for the people to register that, because I'm pretty sure a majority of the people listening went, KM, you're absolutely nuts. That was not an over nerf in any capacity, way, shape, or form. Your version. It was not. It was an under nerf, because it's not about. I'm curious how people will react to this conversation where you think it's about.
I don't care. It is about
priority.
Points. Yeah, it's about points and priority.
I think it's about energy and flexibility.
But they already cut off half of it, dude. Like, how much energy are you actually getting? This is what I'm talking about, right? Like, it's like you do Psylocke, Star-Lord, Zola. Okay, like that's awesome. Psylocke, Star-Lord, Zola, you're getting +8 on the final turn. You're going to 14. That's dope.
Yeah.
That's dope. Maybe you're going to get +5. You'll go to 16. What are you doing with that 16? Like, almost always what actually makes it problematic is being able to do something like Juggernaut Goliath, Fin Fang Foom Goliath, that kind of thing. It matters if you, because like that play pattern that I just described, I just cut out, I want to say 14 points from it, if I'm not mistaken. No, 16 points.
Yeah.
I just cut 16 points out of that play pattern. That seems like a lot. That seems like a whole lot.
It seems like a lot. And I know your argument is more so obviously based specifically around keeping the priority going into turn 6 just so you can Goliath everybody into the ground. So no matter
because
what
otherwise
combo
you're gonna die, right? Like otherwise, they juggernaut you, right? Like otherwise they play cards. I don't know. Like I find it hard to believe that you can't take 16 points of power out of the nut draw and have it not be bad. Like, I think it's a lot.
I think you would feel the difference, of course, but I don't think it matters, because then the bottom half of the deck, maybe the solution's not in the top half. Maybe the solution's in the bottom half. Maybe it's Wave to 3/5, Luna to 3/5, those types of things. Maybe it's that.
I really wish this is one of those cases where I really wish we had access to actual data. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Because it's like, I would like to know if this card's actually problematic. I do actually want to know. Like, I can go check Untapped right now and see what it says.
10% average, roughly, give or take. Anywhere between 8.5% and 10% appearance.
It says it's good. It's 54% win rate, 9.8% in infinite top 50% since the latest patch. It's a good card. They have it in the B tier, which is weird because I don't really know what the B tier. I don't know what their tiers denote a lot of the time, but there are plenty of other cards up there with it. Iron Patriot, higher play rate, I believe higher win rate. Looking at it, Iska's up there. Sam Wilson, higher play rate and win rate by a pretty astonishing amount. Star-Lord, higher play rate and win rate. Fun fact, Arnim Zola with a 49% win rate. Interesting. The delta between Star-Lord and Arnim there suggests to me that every other deck playing Arnim is just wrong.
Just that bad.
just wholly awful. Incorrect to do this.
Yeah, no. And I've heard the argument for nerfing Arnim Zola in some capacity or changing how Arnim Zola works. And I don't think Arnim Zola anymore is the problem. It's just constantly all about that duplication. It's about the retrigger. It's about the it's
Star-Lord, it's Alioth, it's Fin Fang Foom.
Yeah.
And that Juggernaut Delenda Est is just kind of always going to be true. That card's never been okay.
I don't know what they would need to do to make Juggernaut
I haven't figured it out.
Something
6-drop. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, because you can't make it a 5. It's just Cannonball, really, at that point. It's just an untargeted Cannonball. It's really fucking weird. Anyway.
I have no solution. Another entry to the list of cards that seem better than Star-Lord according to Untapped data is Drax Avatar of Life. Obviously these are vaguely fake numbers that need a ton of context to explain them.
Oh yeah. Definitely.
But yeah.
I think this actually kind of leads into an interesting point, talking about all these cards and how these decks kind of evolved into being relevant over the last several months and yada, yada. I want to ask your opinion on what do you think has ended up becoming a bigger reason that we have the Marvel Snap that we do today? Hear me out with this. Do you think the Techpocalypse or card multipliers have made a bigger effect on creating the Marvel Snap that we have today?
Oh, card multipliers by an astonishing amount.
Go on.
People talk about the Techpocalypse like it was a real thing that really mattered. The Techpocalypse was in progress for 3 months before they actually did it because of Shang-Chi was, I remember that Golden Gauntlet. The conversation with all of us was why are so many people taking Shang-Chi? What the hell is happening? This card is horrendous. It's 25% of the metagame. It hits nothing. And that was an early symptom of what Marvel Snap had become about. Which is not to say that doublers are the only thing, because it was also a symptom of Batroc's really good, what are you hitting with a Shang-Chi against my Batroc deck? You're hitting nothing. You're losing. Why are you playing that card? Right? There's, in as much as the Techpocalypse mattered, it mattered because it shifted public opinion. Now people think Shang-Chi is terrible, even though he's really good right now. Right? Now people are why would I put Shang-Chi in my deck? What are you talking about? And then you just blow up a Star-Lord with it. It's become over the last week, every high infinite player has one mid-range pile that they love that is genuinely only winning because of Shang-Chi. Roram sent me a deck that was
makes sense.
A solid 4 points of power in the entire deck, but it's the right tech cards for the metagame, and it was totally fine, right? It was Shang-Chi and Legion, so you just instantly beat the Magic decks, you instantly beat the Star-Lord decks. Who cares what the other cards are? It doesn't matter. You can just do whatever. It's fine. And we've kind of secretly been in a metagame that's like that. Obviously, notable exception, Sholau still puts you in the dirt, but whatever. That's 1 cube. It's fine. I'm not going to stay for 2. I'm not going to stay against your snaps, your Sholau deck, whatever. I don't care. So you just kind of end up in a spot where if there was a tournament, obviously Sholau is just everywhere. There's not even a conversation about that. But if you're just playing on ladder, people don't play the super hyper optimized things. And even in tournaments, I think the prevalence of Shang-Chi in those metagames where it was terrible demonstrates that they don't do that there either.
You are correct.
In as much as the tech apocalypse mattered, it mattered for public perception of tech cards. It had an effect that was greater by a vast amount on the play rate of Shang-Chi that caused everyone to realize, wait, this card isn't actually all that good anymore. And that is the biggest effect of the tech apocalypse, such as it is. Also, taking those points off Eliath, I can't believe they missed this layup. At the time, I was like, don't even revert that guy. Like, just,
I remember you talking about this in the creator
like,
chats.
why would you ever, like, I realize you're doing like a gimmick thing here. Why would you ever revert that? Nobody, not one person was like, damn, I miss Eliath during all of that.
I guess.
And now he's in a 6-7. And it's like, all right, can you just get him back to that 6-6, please? Like, just make him suck. Like, God, the Enchantress change, I think, made her a better and more interesting card for what it's worth. And
I'd agree with that.
Get rid of the sort of tech pile style of deck building. It became very unreasonable to try to build a deck like that. But on the whole, the impactful things have been Human Torch Frigga, Victoria Hand Frigga, Sholau Maverick, Star-Lord Zola.
Yeah.
These are the things that have defined metagames.
Eliath has been on a hell of a journey. I just pulled it up here. Holy crap, this card has been on.
Dude.
No joke. And he's had his effect mildly change little pieces here and there. He's gone from 6-3 to 6-2 to 6-8, where it then switched from destroy all unrevealed cards to remove the text of all unrevealed cards.
What were they cooking?
They went to 6-8. Then it moved up to 6-10, down to 6-9. Switched it from enemy cards to enemy characters so you can still do skills. Then dropped it to 6-6 with the Techpocalypse. Brought it back up to 6-9. And then progressively brought it back down to 6-8 and eventually now 6-7. It has been on one hell of a roller coaster of a dust cloud. And
at no point has anyone ever been, I'm so glad that this card exists. At no point has anyone ever said that. It has never happened.
No, whenever it has become a relevant card, people hate it. They just are like, consistently. And that's how it, look, that's just how we're feeling about it again. Because it's specifically in the Star-Lord deck, and that's it. Like, even those who are playing,
that's all it does.
Yeah,
it's this card doesn't get played unless it says win the game. Yeah, and it says, and when it says win the game, it says win the game in the most annoying bullshit way possible for your opponent.
It's interesting because even in the meta that we have right now, where there are super giant decks that really, what? Oh, you haven't seen hi. No, this is Harvey.
Oh, hi, Harvey.
You haven't met Harvey yet, have you?
I haven't met Harvey. This is my first time meeting Harvey. Is he named after the character from Suits?
No. If you look at his face and he is half and half, that is why he is named Harvey.
I don't get it.
Harvey Dent.
Oh.
There you go.
Yep. Sorry, I'm Suits pilled.
It's okay.
It's only
that's
Harvey
fine.
I thought of. It's like,
and look, that's totally fine too. He's a little bit nicer, but he does bite as hard, so that's fine.
Oh, he looks like he's trying to gnaw on your fingers a little bit.
That's exactly what he's trying to do, and he's also trying to get comfortable. He's also trying to get comfortable right now because I think he's a little overtired. But he's 10 weeks old.
It's costing you a belly that he could rest on right now. Like,
yeah,
it's getting you. It's affecting it, like,
but he doesn't know that. I'm still fluffy to him. I'm still comparatively. I'm a very warm-blooded man. I'm still and now Taxi is jealous as he's now below me, going, "Let down the little one." Sorry.
I regret like one of my, not regrets, but like my fiance. The cats lie on her, on a specific part of her anatomy that I cannot try to replicate, no matter how much chest I hit. I don't think I can match them.
Nope.
It's like, man,
not in comfort.
I will never be that comfortable. I will never be able to be that comfortable. And the
Yeah.
cats will never sleep on my chest. But every day, and she doesn't like it either. You know, it's one of those grass is always greener things. Because what'll happen is the cat will just plop down and like choke her. Because like, I understand why she doesn't like it. I want it to happen to me, and it never will. Frustrating.
I love this dog. He's a feisty little screwball, because Taxi is still learning how to interact with other dogs, because he was a pet shop dog, and he was basically alone with his sister, and that was it. In cages at night. So he never really had outside play, didn't really grow up with other dogs once he went to the pet shop. Harvey, on the other hand, came from a groomer where a breeder that has like 12 to 15 dachshunds at any given time. All they breed are dachshunds, and he's a veterinarian. And so he was surrounded by so many other dogs all the time. So Harvey is like, la, 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 I can handle anything. And he will fight back with Taxi. He is aggressive. He does not care. He will bark at him. He is a tough cookie, and Taxi doesn't even know what to do with this. It's a great detour, by the way, but just sidebar story. No, and now
by the way, you're a Jets fan. You guys went chalk. You picked David Bailey, but Jeremiah Love went 3 to the Cardinals, which is insanely bad drafting. Really love to see it.
At least it wasn't us for one.
Yeah, no, I mean, I thought the Giants were gonna mess that one up, but the Cardinals. When you're the 3rd round pick in the NFL draft, you have $50 million guaranteed in your contract. There are no running backs in the entire league who are paid above 40. So they picked a rookie. They used their draft capital on a rookie for the right to pay him $14 million more than Saquon Barkley. It's bad, brother. I don't care how good that kid is. It's bad.
Watch him go for.
I genuinely, there's no number that would be like
2018.
He would have to rush for 3,000 yards.
3,000 overall. Just overall. Just passing and rushing 3,000 yards, then he's worth it.
I would accept that. Yeah, if you put 3,000 yards on the board, if you put 3,000 all-purpose yards, not counting kick returns, that would be okay. It was okay to spend $50 million on this kid. Unbelievable, man.
I didn't realize we were evolving this podcast into the KMB cast, where we just.
Oh, sorry. I saw the picks. It's the day of the NFL draft. I apologize. Feel free to edit it out.
No, not at all. No, because I'll be curious to see how. I mean, we started talking about the dog, and people are like, "Oh my God, doggos, they're cute. Yeah, that's great." And then you took a left turn at Albuquerque and ended up in the NFL draft.
Yeah, as they say, I've got that dog in me, and that was the connection that I made. It would have been nice if any of the players drafted had been from the Georgia Bulldogs, because then I could have tried to say that was my connection. But realistically, what happened is I hit Alt Tab and I saw it pop up on my Twitter feed, and I was like, "Yo, I'm ADHD. I'm focused on this now."
Yeah. Speaking of ADHD, I do have an ADHD Marvel Snap style focus question for you.
Oh, hell yeah.
Okay. So when I was streaming on Wednesday, and I went up against a couple of random cards at random times, and it did legitimately get me thinking, and I'm trying to think of a better answer than the one that I already have, and maybe you can help me conceptualize this.
Deck-based matchmaking.
Wrong. So good assumption though, but wrong. I went up against somebody who was playing an Agatha deck. I think it was a Black Knight Agatha deck, right?
Sure, yeah.
And I was like, okay, that's a fun deck. It's great. Beat it, sure, whatever. Moved on. Later on in the match, I'm playing up against a 12 card deck, and they drop Ramatut on 4. I was like, oh shit, they're playing a legitimate Rama. Wow. Okay. Good luck, sir. Here we go. Like if it was on 3 and it was an Arishem build, I get it. But like 12 card deck, I was like, okay, kudos. Good to you. All right, sure. I don't remember what happened to that one. I think they retreated. I digress.
Pretty much the Ramatut gameplay loop.
Yeah, basically. Then later on, I faced, of course, Arishem, which is always just like, bleh, I hate facing up against this personally. That's just me. And it kind of led to the idea of the meme deck or the unserious deck. Which is the most serious? Because the ones that I could keep thinking of were what we'll call Ramatut decks, not Ramatut in Arishem, but Ramatut decks, Arishem decks, Agatha decks, Kang, Spider-Man Noir, and those are the only 5 I could think of that would kind of fit that category of the only reason you're playing this is you're memeing. But
Cerebro, brother.
Cerebro is not a meme deck.
It is if it's not 3.
Okay, outside of Cerebro 2 and 3. I'll give you that.
Hey, Cerebro.
Outside of 2 and 3,
Cerebro
okay,
2 is a
then
meme
I'll
deck.
give you that.
Cerebro 2 is a meme deck. I'm sorry. Cerebro 2 is a meme deck. I hate to be the one to break it to you, but like there's been a clear differentiation.
Yeah.
Like I know it used to be a deck, but it's not 2024 anymore. It's Cerebro 3
it lost some
deck.
big pieces, so yeah. We could probably say that. Okay, so minus Cerebro 3. Sure, I'll give you Cerebro then. That's fair. Because when you say Cerebro, my brain always goes Cerebro 3. Sorry to the Cerebro 5 lovers out there, but I think you're coping. I always have.
I mean, they are, but like that's fine. You could cope Cerebro 5. You could cope Cerebro 4. I assumed the question you were asking is what's the best meme deck? What's the most playable meme deck? And I think it's like gun to my head, just go find Jay Walla and be like, do you have a Cerebro 4 list? Like if you're asking me for like if someone was like, you have to go win a tournament with a meme deck, I'd be like, all right, I'm just gonna go I'm gonna cheat this category. I'm gonna pick whatever deck I think is the best and play the least meme version of it. Like whatever. I'm gonna I am who I am. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I know.
I can't be any other way.
Because I almost got into the world of Black Knight. I almost said Black Knight. And I'm like, maybe it's like
Black Knight just it's a deck that doesn't have enough of a points package to be a good points and interaction deck.
Yeah.
But like it could be. Like it's a little too clunky, but like Black Knight's a deck that can be a Juggernaut Cosmo deck if you want it to. And that's frankly better than most decks in the category that we're talking about.
No, it's true though. Like I also had First Ghost Rider. Because people who build with First Ghost Rider are really specifically trying to make like there's one floating around now with Taskmaster and all this weird shit. Have you seen this?
No.
There's this weird one that's going on. I can't remember who built it, but it's specifically to discard the Taskmaster and then do some Man Spider shenanigans and then revive the Taskmaster to copy the Man Spider on turn 6. Rather than just play it, it allows you to get the 2/7 down and extra bodies and stuff. It is like really going out of the way to do the thing, if you will. But it's different. It's cool. It's memey. I'm like, all right, I could live with that. But I can't take it as a serious deck. And that kind of just leads down this whole thought in that with the stream the other day. And it got me down in this whole mindset of like, if, like you said, gun to my head, if there's a meme deck I have to play to try to climb on ladder, am I taking Arishem? Am I taking Agatha? And part of me just wants to say
Arishem counts. I feel like nobody's going to allow you to count Arishem. Like this is your version of the thing where everyone throws tomatoes at you, like me with Star-Lord. Like the comments are going to kill you for this, thinking like, oh, Arishem's a meme deck. Shut the fuck up, guest. I lose to that shit all the time. It's not a meme. Like,
I don't lose. I don't lose to it. I just retreat from it.
That dude, that's like a banger slogan for a general getting his shit kicked by Napoleon in like 1803. Look, I didn't lose.
No. There's a difference between they won and I lost. There is a difference. One was in my control. One was in their control. If I choose to go to turn 6 on Arishem, because we're going to replace this name in a second. If I choose to go to turn 6 on Arishem and I lose, I lost. They did not win. Insert new card here into this same sentence. If I choose to go to turn 6 with going up against a Star-Lord deck that has 14 fucking energy on the final turn.
That's on you.
Case in point, right?
Yep.
It's the same mindset for me when it comes to playing up against Airsham decks. More often than not, if I'm choosing to stay on turn 6, and look, it's not an obvious win at that point for me. It's like, look, you got to try to factor 400 something cards as a possible counter right now. Really? Like, I do think it's a little bit of a meme deck. It's a 50% win rate deck. It's not a good deck on ladder. I would still consider it a meme deck.
Ask if you think they're meme decks. All right.
Okay.
Just, let's say Ozymandias, but you can play Supergiant. No, not a meme deck because Supergiant's in it. What if I was playing Devil Dinosaur package in Supergiant? Still not a meme deck?
A Devil Dino in a Supergiant pack? No, any Supergiant deck right now.
Devil Dino. Any Supergiant's just out? Okay.
Yeah. Supergiant plus 5 cost ongoing equals playable deck.
Sure. How about discard? If I'm playing MODOK, is that a meme deck? Is Destroy a meme deck?
Discard, no. Destroy is on the cusp.
Is Phantom X a meme deck?
Ooh.
Tough, right? Like, I think if you go through it, you'll find that like the lines are not particularly clear. So what you have to do is, instead of being like, what isn't a meme deck, what you have to do is like, what am I positive is a meme deck? And then cut down from there, I think.
Okay, so I think, with that in mind, then I'm going to probably say decks that have less control. And what I mean by that is Ramatut is completely random. Airsham, half your deck is completely random. Agatha, you have no idea what she's going to do on half of the turns that she's able to play. Kang, you've gotten 4 random cards being put into your deck and have made it thicker, and you don't even know what they are. I'm going to remove Spider-Man Noir from that conversation. Because it is a strategy you can build. Similarly to how you're looking at discard and destroy and Phantom X. Those are decks that they might not be.
What you're saying is you need to just totally eat shit if you're playing this deck. Like, you need to just like lose like 30% of your games to shit that is totally out of your control.
Bingo. That's a meme deck.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Then I would argue Cerebro absolutely counts. I think.
Yeah, because locations can absolutely screw you.
I have choked on a cough drop, which is the exact opposite of what they're supposed to do. But I have done it. I have hit the reverse cough drop. I've hit the drop that actually makes you cough.
I don't know if I'm impressed or concerned or both.
Both.
Yeah, let's go with both.
It's a both angle.
Yeah. Meme deck.
Is Zoo a meme deck? Because you lose way more than 30% of your games, but it's because your deck is terrible.
Bad deck does not mean meme deck. Poor performer, not competitive is not a meme deck.
Okay.
Ramatut turning into a destroyer and destroying your shit randomly on turn 4, that's a meme deck.
I would say that the answer for best meme deck is going to be Cerebro 4, if I had to guess.
I would. Wait, no, never mind. I was gonna possibly make an argument for Agamotto, but then I said no, never mind. That's just thickening the deck, and that's like Thanos. And never mind. No, I took back my own argument before I made it. I took back my own argument.
It's an argument. You could make it. Yeah. I would guess that to be correct, though. I would guess it would be something like that. Or, I mean, just the chalk pick would be RSM, but I don't want to make the chalk pick here.
Yeah, I mean, I think if I had to go into a tournament and bring either Ramatut, Airsham, Agatha, or Kang, I'm probably bringing Kang, to be honest.
Oh, you think you're going to play the splat deck? My gut check is it's RSM in that situation. Like, RSM's not a great deck, but I do think it's a cut above just like, whatever other things you've grouped with it here. Barring, I think Cerebro 4 is not that far behind Cerebro 3. And it's like, to me, that would feel like I'm getting one over on the rule set. by taking a deck that's actually like kind of good. So like, if you want to take that out, that's fine. But like, that's how I feel about it. I feel like I like cleverly negotiated the rule set to allow me to play a deck I actually kind of like.
And honestly, it's fair because I mean, we even heard it when Black Bolt just got his change in the recent OTA. The Cerebro 7 players are crying, because it's Cerebro 7's a meme. I mean, I've seen Cerebro 10. I did the Cerebro challenge. That sucked, by the way. Never would ever recommend that to anybody ever. Just once you took out Cerebro 3 from the conversation, made me rethink about Cerebro 2. It does make sense that it is a meme deck because it's a deck that can lose to random shit that is out of your control. Plain and simple. You're playing Cerebro 4. Guess what? Oh, here's a monster island. Well, eat shit. Like it's what you're done. Goodbye.
That's life. That's what got it in this conversation is that will happen to your ass
all the time. All the time. I feel like it happens more when I'm playing Cerebro, but
I can still prodigy a claw, I could play a game of Marvel Snap. The thing that like the non-small Cerebro, like this is going to sound weird. The small Cerebro decks give everyone a very bad understanding of the bigger Cerebro decks. Like one of the big things about Cerebro 5, for example, is that you don't need Cerebro. You're actually just playing good cards. Like you get the luxury of playing cards that can win games that you get a monster island in because you're just playing cards that are like, they're not good, but they're way more respectable than your average card in a Cerebro 3 deck, right? Especially than your average card in a Cerebro 2 deck. And it sort of gives people this misunderstanding of what the bigger Cerebro decks are, I think. What sets Cerebro 5 apart from the other ones is largely that it has more guys that make more guys. Gets a Scarlet Spider and Doctor Doom, which intensifies the ability of Cerebro to like be helpful. But like you'll notice that the further up the curve you get, the less likely they are to run Mystique. And that's because the play pattern changes, because you're running higher, more expensive cards that are more able to win games on their own. And in the lower versions of Cerebro, you're playing a lot of cards that need 2 Cerebros to contest a lane. Yeah.
If you're bringing Cerebro 2, Cerebro 3, you're trying to get it to happen twice. So that way each of them is, plus 8 in total. It's 8 power. It's 9 power. It's somewhere in that range. You only need one of those if you're playing a Cerebro 5. So yes, you can get around it. However, I think the biggest reason that Cerebro 5 is more of a meme is because of Cosmic Ghost Rider, because you have to play down your Cerebro early more often than not in Cerebro 5 decks and 4 decks, really, than any other deck.
Yeah, I agree that you do have to end up playing it out earlier when you have more things at the top end of the curve. But it's also one of those things where it's like, nice Cosmic Ghost Rider, like my 5-drop is actually just better than yours in my Cerebro deck, which is never true in any other context, right? It's just, I don't know. I like CGR a lot. I think it's a nice Band-Aid type card. It's a much more healthy tech card to exist than, I would argue, basically any other tech card that's ever existed. I consider CGR the most healthy tech card that has ever existed in Marvel Snap. I'm not sure how good he is. Like a lot of the time you'll play him and you'll be like, I've stopped them from beating me. And then they'll be like, but I played points. And you'll be like, he is a 5/6. It is very limiting in terms of the decks you can put him in, because you can really only get him in decks. By the way, unbelievable split here from you. That's $100 Cosmic Ghost Rider right there. I don't even have that. That is big ballin' right there.
I appreciate the compliment. Thank you.
Really, really good. I think that. Wait, is his head in a tank? He's like he's a cosmic Ghost Rider. He's in space. He's wearing a space helmet. Oh my God, he has to wear a helmet?
He's in space. I never noticed.
Does he have a helmet on in all his other variants? I need to please show me.
It's right there.
Oh my God.
Not in the Envar one. That one's just straight up as is.
Okay. Envar clearly promotes unsafe driving.
Yes.
It's the takeaway here.
But yeah, no, the base variant is.
I learned this from the pit. Always wear your helmet when you're motorcycling.
What's even funnier to me is in the base variant, the flame is stuck in the helmet, so it can't like protrude. It's just kind of like chilling, like little science experiment dome versus the creative house pocket one where there's so much flame it's emanating out his neck, out the bottom of it, and then all the way around it, under, on top. It's just, anyway, I digress. Shiny object. Cosmic Ghost Rider, you're saying is a mid card?
It is the wrong way to phrase it, probably. I think it's important, but
yeah,
it's, it's
a catch-all.
Right. And by virtue of being a catch-all, it's never goated. It's always just barely there. You know what I mean? Like, it's always like, I'm hanging on by the skin of my teeth here with this Cosmic Ghost Rider. Mm-hmm. It's a really well-balanced card because I can love it and also think it's like, this is fine. And also it's in 100% of my decks, right? Like, it's just, I have to play it. What do you want from me?
Dog has to pee. Letting him out. There we go. There he goes. Well, potty. There you go. All right. Now Harvey's off to the races. I think if you took out from the current meta Doom 2099, does your opinion change on this card?
Yeah, I think a lot of it is subsidized by decks that have open slots at the 5 and need really badly to not get the shit kicked out of them by, and you can really just start naming decks here. Anything playing Jocasta, anything playing Invisible in First Steps, any kind of Living Tribunal deck, you just start naming decks that he hits. There's a million of them, but the key thing is that most of them are things that go over the top of you that you otherwise, with your fair point output, simply don't have a plan for. So he's a great card for Doom 2099, who has exactly 2 tech slots in the entire deck. Both of them are at the 5 cost slot, and they better work or you're going to get comboed, which is why I do CGR and Sandman. Yeah. Because I don't have anything else. I don't have anything else. CGR for Star-Lord, Sandman for Showlout. That's it. I would love to play a Legion too. I want to play Legion so badly. Because it really does feel like there's a lot of free wins out there if people play Magic and you're just like playing Legion in a world where they just think it's not very likely for you to have it. So many free wins. But I have to respect the Star-Lord Showlow stuff a little bit too much, I think.
I wonder if there's a world where that deck evolves to being just 1/2 drop and it's like just Sam or just Moondragon. And then
you just get the 5 in.
Either the 5 or you go
3 is so ass. I want more 2s, honestly.
I can see the argument for both, because on the one end, it's like, do you want to start strong or do you want to finish strong? Right? Do you want the flexibility of let the power grow progressively, or do you want the uncertainty of the final turn? Because like I used to like the variations that would run all 3 6-drops. I really liked those variations. I thought it created a lot of indecision. You're trying to win on the final turn. You're creating that confusion because they can see the halo that you have Galactus First Steps in your hand, but the deck clearly wants to play Doom 2099 style gameplay of which other. And that indecision is more final turn uncertainties and leads to retreats. So I can get the logic behind that versus, look, I just have a boatload of points. I put it down starting turn 2. You're going to need to retreat.
I do think that like there's an argument for cube equity for the Legion, but one of the things that I value pretty strongly in getting on the board early is that if you can represent like a reasonably strong game plan, people that should snap you are less likely to do so. Whereas if you skip 2 turns, people are going to be like, there's blood in the water. And I think a lot of the time they will be more right to do that. Like, yeah, maybe you can beat them with Invisible Woman into Doom 2099, into Sandman, into Doom. Maybe you can do that. But I would imagine that playing, you know, the 2-9 or 2-11 or whatever Moondragon is right now, or the 2-7 that prevents Doom from clogging your shit, I would imagine those are just going to be better for your game plan than your opponents correctly snapping when you're weak. Like, that's largely what it is for me. Mm-hmm. Like, I go back and forth on what the third 3-drop should be and if it should be a third 2-drop instead. That's the one that comes up a lot.
I don't know why I just had the stupidest. It's either going to be revered as the stupidest idea or the best idea, hands down, for a new variation of Doom 2099 because of the 3-drop slot. You're gonna hate it, and I know you. The 3-drop is Lady Sif.
Yeah, I hate that.
And your third 6-drop is Hela.
I mean, that's really funny. It's got to be terrible, but like, that's really funny. I would imagine that's terrible. You're making a face like points wise, but it's like, dude, what if the Hela's in your hand?
Then you don't play the fucking Lady Sif.
Okay, but like, what are you gonna do? Skip your 3?
I don't know. Make it a Foom deck. Shut up. I'll figure it out. I'll figure it out.
It's like,
I'll figure it out. I'll figure it out.
I think at some point it's just like, just go play Hela, all right? Just go put a Cosmic Ghost Rider in your Hela and call it a day. Like,
I'll figure it out. I'll figure out something. I'll put in next week's video, whatever. But like, let me cook, damn it.
I don't think it's a bad idea. Dude, it was crazy. I got a comment. I did a video with Husky. He was on the last 8 cubes.
Yeah, I saw.
And we were talking about Star-Lord. And I got a comment that was like, of course the Hela enjoyer hates Star-Lord. And I was like, oh my God, they're flaming somebody else that isn't me. They're like, Husky, you're a Hela player. You hate Star-Lord because it's beating your Hela deck. That's why. First time ever someone's been like, yo, your guest, disgusting.
Yeah.
Never seen that before.
I also got to give credit because it's funny with Husky in particular. He kind of started to grow on the scene and got to be known as the Hela guy, right? That was like his fault, introduction.
Right?
I know.
I sort of like, he was
you
like the guy I would
that
bring
with
on.
him.
I would bring him on for Hela, and like he's like the like the Daily Show back in the day. What they do is like chief something correspondent. He was my chief Hela correspondent for a while.
100% he was.
And
100%.
And unfortunately, it stuck, even though he hasn't been a Hela gamer in 2 years. This guy in the YouTube comments is like, this piece of shit.
That's what I'm getting at, though, is I got to give him credit because he got out of his niche, right? He got known for being the Hela guy.
Apparently not.
But generally, not just the one guy in the comments, but generally speaking, you don't think nowadays, okay, he's known as that. He's not Jet. Jet, 2 years, 3 years, whatever it is later, Phoenix Force. That's what he does, right? Ika even still gets confused as like, is he the Pixie guy? Or does he just really like Pixie? Or is that Pixie Chef? And then there's the battle between them.
He does other
and
stuff, but like, yes, Ika would be probably my chief Pixie correspondent, yes.
100%.
Maybe actually it would be fairer to call him my chief Infinity Ultron correspondent.
Yeah. He's very often there too. This is true. But like
Sizer hit my DMs today with a V-hand deck. Chief V-hand correspondent, formerly chief move correspondent. Like it's just one of those things. Like sometimes it's like that, man. I don't know.
I mean, to think that we even have a chief M'Baku correspondent is something.
Yeah. Yeah. We have a chief bad deck correspondent, which is great. I love that. That's awesome for me. Hi, you want to come up here? Meow.
Oh, she can't hear me, but yeah.
No, she can't. Poor girl.
No. Here, we'll get our animals to argue at each other through the screen. If only they could understand what a screen is.
She has no desire to be a podcaster which is crazy because she is very white.
I hate you.
I really didn't have a follow-up. It was just like, if that doesn't land, I've just got to sit on it until he gets what I'm doing here.
I think I might leave it at that. I'm going to use that as the outro right there.